From the silent swordsmen of feudal Japan, to the children forged into warriors in ancient Sparta, to Vikings who stared death in the face and laughed, to Templar knights who swore discipline to something greater than themselves, to modern special forces who endure levels of pressure most people can't imagine. Across thousands of years, across cultures, across completely different lives, the greatest warriors all shared psychological patterns that made them almost impossible to break. This video is not about violence. It's about psychology, about discipline, stillness, clarity, and the invisible codes that created the world's most resilient human beings. If you can understand how they thought, you can understand how to transform your own mind. Let's begin. When people hear the term warrior mindset, they imagine aggression, intensity, violence. But the truth is almost the opposite. Warrior psychology is about clarity, not chaos. Control, not rage. Stillness, not noise. A true warrior, in any era, is defined by 3 traits. 1. Emotional neutrality. The ability to stay calm when every instinct wants you to panic. 2. Voluntary hardship. Choosing difficulty even when an easier path exists. 3. Identity anchored to a code. Not acting on impulse, but on principle. This mindset isn't exclusive to battlefields. You can find it in elite athletes, monks, explorers, astronauts, surgeons, and people who simply refuse to crumble under pressure. Warrior psychology is the study of how humans endure, adapt, and remain composed in moments that break most people. And no figure represents this better than Musashi Miyamoto. Musashi Miyamoto fought over 60 duels, often against masters, sometimes against multiple opponents at once, and never lost. People focus on his mastery of the sword, but his greatest weapon was psychological. In the Book of 5 Rings, Musashi wrote that a warrior must win in the mind before winning in the world. To him, emotions were the true enemy, not other swordsmen. Samurai psychology was built around stillness, a mind emptied of noise, fear, and ego, a mind that does not jump, react, or cling to discomfort. This is why the samurai practiced zanshin, a state of relaxed awareness, not tense, not loose, just present. Musashi believed this presence allowed you to see what others miss, to stay calm as others tighten, to respond precisely as others crumble. He trained alone, slept little, made his life uncomfortable on purpose, to strengthen his spirit. But his deepest principle was detachment. He warned against becoming attached to anything: techniques, weapons, outcomes, even life itself. Attachment creates hesitation. Hesitation breaks the mind. Samurai believed that a person who accepts death becomes unstoppable at living. Stillness, presence, detachment. This was the first pillar of the unbreakable mind. If the samurai mastered stillness, the Spartans mastered discipline. Their society was built to shape the will from childhood. Spartan boys entered the agage, a brutal education system focused on endurance, obedience, and unity. Pain was not an obstacle. Comfort was not expected. Discipline was not optional. Behind the harsh training was one deeper lesson. Control yourself, or you can't control anything. Spartan strength came not from aggression, but from consistency. They repeated the same drills thousands of times. They fought in formations where the shield beside them was more important than their own instincts. Short-term pain for long-term clarity. Every comfort avoided sharpened their discipline. Every hardship willingly endured strengthened their will. The Spartans didn't seek an easy life. They sought a meaningful one. This is the second pillar. A will trained deliberately, not left to chance. The Vikings lived in a world of storms, hunger, and uncertainty. Their resilience came from attitude. Three forces shaped the Viking mind. 1. Risk. Fear was a compass, not a warning. 2. Reputation. Honor was their currency. Your name mattered more than your comfort. 3. Ruthlessness. Not cruelty, but decisive action. The willingness to act when others hesitate. To a Viking, life was too short to live timidly. They believed the gods favored boldness. Their mindset can be summarized in one lesson. Do not fear the storm. Become the one who sails into it. This is the third pillar, boldness under uncertainty. The Knights Templar were warriors, but also monks, bound by vows, anchored by duty. Their power came not from fearlessness, but from serving something greater than themselves. Duty gave them psychological stability. A Templar's actions were guided by a code, not by emotion, not by impulse. When your identity is tied to a mission, your mind becomes extremely hard to shake. This is the fourth pillar, a purpose that stabilizes the mind when emotions shift. Modern special forces combine centuries of warrior psychology, but have one unique trait: controlled aggression. This cycle requires precise emotional control. Operators train under stress, exhaustion, noise, and failure, on purpose. Because when the mind is tired, the real character appears. They develop skills like stress inoculation, rapid decision-making, breath control, awareness without panic, confidence without ego. Their lesson is simple. Intensity is powerful, only when you can turn it on and off. This is the fifth pillar, controlled intensity. Despite different cultures, all warriors share the same traits: calm under pressure, discipline over comfort, bold action under fear, purpose over impulse, and controlled aggression. These aren't talents, they're trained behaviors. All rooted in 4 psychological skills: attention control, emotional regulation, stress tolerance, and identity rooted in a personal code. When these align, the mind becomes unbreakable. You can build this mindset with small, consistent habits. 1. The The samurai habit. Single task presence. Once a day, do something with full attention. No multitasking, no noise. 2. The Spartan habit. Chosen discomfort. A cold shower, a workout, silence, fasting, or waking early. 3. Viking habit. Fear micro-challenge. Do one thing weekly that intimidates you slightly. Let fear signal direction, not retreat. 4. Templar habit. Write your personal code. 5 principles you live by. Clarity strengthens identity. 5. The Special Forces habit. Breath resets. Inhale 4 seconds. Hold 4. Exhale 4. Your nervous system will thank you. 6. Neutrality habit. Respond, don't react. Pause 1 second before speaking or acting. 1 second can save the mind. 7. The morning habit. A 10-minute routine that sets the tone for your day. Repetition is what rewires the mind. These micro habits become macro strength. Every warrior we explored lived in a different world, but all discovered the same truth. Strength is trained, clarity is earned, resilience is built. You don't need their battles, you only need their psychology. Stillness like the samurai, discipline like the Spartans, boldness like the Vikings, purpose like the Templars, control like modern special forces. Build these slowly, quietly, patiently. And one day, you'll look back and realize that nothing breaks you anymore. Which warrior mindset do you want for the next video? Thanks for watching.